It's Friday, September 2nd, 2022, and this is Den Excelsior, the Mostly Marvel podcast. I'm Dennis, and I'll be your host as we review the latest Marvel happenings across all media, as well as other superpowered stories that caught our attention. And when I say we, I'm referring to my panel of fellow nerds joining me this evening. First up, it's the man behind the buttons, as always, and he's really excited about Twerk and She-Hulk. It's Ricky.
That makes me sound pervy. Don't.
Because you are. That's probably why. That's probably why.
Yeah, Twerk and She-Hulk.
Yeah, I guess that's your thing this week. And
Yeah,
car alarms,
in the car.
as
Yeah,
usual.
she was twerking next to the car.
Yeah. Full disclosure, just to be clear, you may be watching this on September 2nd, but we're actually pre-recording this, so we won't be able to engage with the fans this time around. It's just there were circumstances that prevented Ricky or my guest from being available on the Friday for the live show. So we just said, you know what, let's do it. Let's do it pre-recorded, and we'll get it out there for the fans to hear our take on everything for the week. So we're just going to keep pretending it's Friday. But, yeah. And
Gotta
if
get down
you
on
got
Friday.
questions, feel free to write them in there and we'll get back to you and respond eventually. So don't worry about it. All right. With that said, we will get our special guest out here that was nice enough to come on a Thursday evening or
A
afternoon.
school night.
Yeah, on a school night he came. He is currently in a cave basically because he's trying to save energy during a massive heat wave that we're going through over here in California. So it might look a little dark for anybody who's watching. But welcome back, Clarke.
Hello, everyone.
He's in the spooky cave.
The end is nigh.
Yeah.
It's like 90 degrees.
Dark and cool. I feel like Scrooge. Scrooge liked the dark because it was cheap.
Thanks for being back, Clarke.
Absolutely.
And thanks for binging She-Hulk and Harley Quinn today. That's what we're going to be watching, or that's what we watched today.
Oh, I had to binge Harley. She-Hulk, I have been there every week, and we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Are you guys morning She-Hulk people or afternoon She-Hulk people?
I'm a breakfast She-Hulk guy, and then I'm a lunchtime Harley guy.
I've been a midnight She-Hulk guy.
Oh, I was a WandaVision midnight guy, but I ended that for a minute.
Yeah.
Well, they're short.
It is easier to swallow.
I'm fast asleep by that point. So I just I like watching it during breakfast, and then then I get it like fresh in the morning, and then I get to think about it all day.
Get your greens in the morning.
Yeah, and then I did watch it again during dinner. So yeah. But I'm just curious, because I know Clarke knows I did a massive binge of to finish up my Apple subscription this week. But I watched 30 hours of For All Mankind over the weekend. And then I didn't want to watch any more TV after that.
Understandable.
Yeah. I actually went yesterday. I only watched the two shows that I watch on Hulu on Wednesday. I just watched What We Do in the Shadows and Reservation Dogs, and that was it. I had an hour of TV watching yesterday.
This Res Dogs was pretty great.
Yeah, but so today again, the only things I watched were She-Hulk and Harley Quinn. I need a break from TV, so yeah. Let me know how the Lord of the Rings is. But have you guys been watching anything else lately?
I watched the first episode of House of Dragons.
Okay.
And I didn't bother with I haven't watched the second one yet.
It's pretty boring.
I haven't been compelled.
Are you upset with the music?
To go back. I'm not upset because it's one of the greatest themes ever, but I understand why they would just copy the thing. But part of me is also like,
It was really weird. I've never seen a spin-off that just straight up rips off the music from the other thing. I'm not used to that. I don't know that they're not allowed to, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
artistically, if they want it to just be more chapters that come before the story, I mean, that's like, you know, if you went and saw Star Wars Episode 1 and it didn't start with the Star Wars music, you'd be pretty pissed off, right? Like that's
yeah,
stuff
And or not and or Rogue One doesn't start with the music, right?
because it's not an episode in Star Wars.
I
yeah.
know.
But they purposely,
I know it was intentional.
went to the, had the side stuff. But
Yeah.
I am looking forward to checking out Lord of the Rings this weekend, and we'll see how the two big epic fantasies match up and which one I'll decide to watch. But
Is that
I'm pretty
tomorrow?
sure no, it's today actually.
it's,
It came
yeah,
out today. It came out on Thursday. I'm actually fairly certain without even watching it that Lord of the Rings will be better than the Game of Thrones spinoff. I'm not enjoying it. I did watch the second one like that. I forgot after I finished my For All Mankind binge, I was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot to watch this thing." So I watched it and it was not good. It was not good. It's just boring. Like I don't I don't care. Like I think the thing is like in general prequels, right? Like
you
you
are
you have
100% correct.
you
Those
have to have
words,
a
I don't
reason.
care. Yeah,
You
and
have
I'm
to have
not a
a
big
reason.
Wow.
prequel fan. You know,
Yeah,
and Lord of the Rings is going to have to convince me of that too, because again,
exactly.
not that big.
Yeah.
Why are we having it?
I'm
Oh, the
not saying
money.
prequels can't be good. I'm just
Yep.
saying like most
Yeah,
of the time it's a really hard sell.
it's
It's a
got to be
hard sell.
compelling, and
Yeah.
they have to have characters that then you care about that are not tied or required to be
They got to be
tied back to the
adjacent.
original. Yeah, they have to be adjacent. They have to be their own characters. They can't
Yeah.
be dependent on the original series. I mean,
But
perfect case in point was Knights of the Old Republic.
about to say,
It,
Gandalf showing up.
Gandalf probably will show up because the wizards are old, and I'm fine with that. He's the one character that would, but
But it won't be Ian McKellen though, right? It's not. These aren't
Mm,
in any way affiliated with
no, they are.
uh are they Peter Jackson?
Yeah.
well,
Right?
Really?
Am
I don't.
I,
I mean, I don't know if it is. I thought it's still the same company that owns the rights to the Lord of the Rings,
Oh.
but I don't know if it's the same production company. But
NetEase bought the rights to the
right,
books, but
and all the movies. And so,
does that include the movies?
yeah, I think it was the movies too. If I
From my
remember reading the
understanding,
article.
the Lord of the Rings show is set in the same universe as the movies, or which, yeah.
Mhm.
I do
But
believe they
the
share the same like logo in terms of like the actual Lord of the Rings
So we'll
powers
have
of.
a younger Galadriel because it
right.
is thousands of years, and
I mean, the fact that I don't think we know that for sure is, I think, a misstep, right?
I mean,
If you were making a
yeah.
Lord of the Rings show, like you would want to loop it all back in.
Well, I mean, you don't have to. Like I'm fine with it not looping back in, but I'm saying I don't know for certain. I don't see Peter Jackson's name.
He's not attached to it, no, but he was never. He's not like he owned.
yeah,
I mean, yeah, he only did all 6 of them.
Yeah, that's like a George Lucas thing, right? Like,
It's only the execution of his artistic
you
vision.
kind of want to see if he was an executive producer.
Yeah, like
I don't think he is.
to say that it's not in any way like affiliated with Peter Jackson doesn't matter is I mean then how is it related to the movies if it's not in any way affiliated with
It's
Peter
set
Jackson?
in that universe,
No, it's set in the Lord of the Rings universe.
based on the universe in the movie.
No, the movie is based on the books.
I think we're getting into semantics here.
Yeah, no, we're getting into very important semantics.
There's a movie and a
I
show
think they
with some
are
rings in
important, but
it.
yeah, I don't
It's
know.
like the way What If is based in the MCU.
Yeah, but it's
It's
still
not
what it story. This is like
really.
a hella prequel.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyways, I just wanted to give Clark and Ricky a chance to talk about anything else going on but I don't know if I want to give Ricky any more
Yeah,
chances
I
right
mean,
now.
it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I will get some formalities out of the way really quick before we move on through the show. We do have a fun show in store. As advertised, we'll be putting a spotlight on HBO Max's season 3, episode 8 of Harley Quinn, and the recently dropped episode 3 of She-Hulk: Attorney at Law on Disney Plus. But before we do that, we'll have some nerd news to discuss and a quick round of trivia to play. I'm going to skip the part where I tell people don't be shy because you can't talk to us right now. But if you are watching this and it's like pre-recorded or recorded at a later time, and you do have questions, feel free to put them out there. And like I said, we'll try and get back to you because we like hearing from the fans. It was fun last week. We actually had like messages from our fan before the show even started. That was pretty cool. And yeah, if you can't get enough of us, you should visit patreon.com/DenXmedia, where you'll find a variety of creative offerings, including recent episodes of our live after show, The Soapbox. Patrons get exclusive access to chat with us, but if that's not your thing, don't worry. We'll be releasing to the public, the following week whenever we do that. There will not be a Soapbox this week, though, guys. So this is all you get from us. But enjoy it.
They
Enjoy
are
it.
connected.
I mean, however you want to say it, it doesn't. Like, is Andy Serkis Smeagol?
I can't.
it goes way
I watched
before
the show.
Smeagol.
Yeah, it'd be way before.
I
Is
mean,
Smeagol
like,
still
I
there?
don't know how they're connected, other than the ring is the exact same ring, I guess. Like, it looks the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I
It's a
don't get how
prequel to the universe set in the
Yes.
movies. Like that's all. That's
The
all it
font,
is.
the Elvish font is the same.
the font is the same.
Yeah.
Like,
as
like
from the book. I am not jumping in this argument because
It's like it's a fact. It's not. It's not an argument.
Yeah.
no, it doesn't. It's not a fact if they're not. If it doesn't have the same people in it, like overseeing it, it's not a fact. Like you're deciding that it's a prequel to the movies, but it could just as very well be a prequel to the books.
I have no idea what we're even talking about now.
You're the one that kept it going.
Lord of the Rings show is based on the universe established in the movies.
Do you understand
visually? Yes,
but do you understand the movies are based 100% on
yes,
the
I know
books.
the movies are
Like,
based on the books.
So, like, what does it mean to be?
We don't know if we will see Tom Bombadil, who was not in the movies but is in the books.
Is he not in the Hobbit movies either?
Was
I've
he
never,
in them?
I've never seen them.
I don't think so. But
I'm saying if there's characters that would have lived in that time that are not played by the same actors, then
and that is the case because, as we said, Galadriel is not.
Yeah.
What is it?
Kate Blanchett. Yeah. Or
Because
Elrond.
Elrond, because
Yeah,
they're all
she
younger
costs money.
versions of
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah,
And they cost money. Yeah. But the excuse is they're younger versions of themselves, of eternal elves.
Yeah. It's basically like Dumb and Dumberer, in how like that's technically a prequel to Dumb and Dumber, but like you don't have the same cast at all. Like,
Yeah.
it's the Dumb and Dumberer of Lord of the Rings. Okay. All right. Cool. I get it.
I'm gonna wait until after I watch it before I.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not
Yeah.
good. I'm just saying I can't tell. I can't. I'm trying to figure out what in it could be definitively movie universe when I watch it. You know.
But we know it'll be a problem if the credits start and we hear dun 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 dun.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll use the same cues, right?
That was the extra joke.
Yeah.
Against.
Who knows? All right, Ricky, you want to do
right.
some news other than
Yes.
Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, let's talk about some cool stuff.
All right, this better be cool stuff.
You want some good DC news or bad DC news?
I mean, you said cool stuff.
Then start with the good.
Go with the. Okay, yeah, he wants good. Go with the good.
All right.
first.
Harley Quinn and got announced for season 4, or got a season 4 announced. That's
Wow,
probably a
look at
huge
the headline.
surprise.
Look at the headline. What is this from?
This
What
is from Kotaku, I believe.
HBO Max renews Harley Quinn in rare, good, sensible move.
So
Dang.
it's a little shaky over at Warner Brothers, right? And HBO.
Yeah, it's shaky, but like
I mean,
I
to put it
think
in perspective, they just canceled a Batman show a week
Hey,
ago.
we don't
I
even know if HBO Max is going to last that long.
I think we do know it's not going to last that long. Actually, that's what I've been told. Like it's actually officially going to be gone next
Yeah,
year.
it's gonna go to they are gonna migrate to Discover.
Yeah.
Um,
But no, what I'm saying is the part about sensible that implies that they know more about the goings on inside Discovery and Warner than they probably do. Do you know what I mean? We don't know. We just don't know. Like maybe these are good decisions. Like I know I was defending Batgirl for the last few weeks, but I've been reading actual like now that they did the funeral screenings, I've been reading some really bad reviews of that movie that were saying it was basically like a really long CW pilot. And that's not good. And you don't want to see Michael Keaton in something that's labeled that. You know what I mean? So maybe they
I
are
think
making sensible
one
decisions.
you got to keep in mind that I mean these aren't $1 million decisions; these are $1 billion decisions. That these cuts, we're just focused on the DC aspect of it, but there's other parts of their business that they're cutting and shifting and moving all to make this merger happen. So you would like to think that the people involved in a $1 billion transaction would make sensible business moves, even if they don't appear sensible on the outside, right?
I mean, in theory, yes, you would like that. But I just think it's funny that Kotaku is just shots fired all over the place with this article. But yes, I am very happy about that. I don't know, Clark.
Oh.
Now that you
Yeah.
binged it, do you want more?
Well, I mean, I had seen season 1 and 2.
Right. I just
Yeah.
meant season
So I already
three.
knew it
Like
was good. Yes.
I
It
I
is
think
again, like for people who haven't watched Harley Quinn, you have to realize that it's in its own universe, its own version of the DC universe, and that just makes you enjoy it. You
yeah,
know.
it's
So
not a prequel to any specific movie,
no, it is not.
Oh.
And
but
it's
it
special
also
for
embraces all
yeah.
movies at the same time.
Yeah.
All more than movies, it covers everything.
Yes, it
But
does.
it is nice to see something renewed. Yes,
But
especially since HBO is not the only thing. Netflix is becoming more and more notorious for just having season ones
Yeah.
of stuff. So, as the streaming services have different reasons why they go into seasons,
mhm.
sometimes it's good to see a show that you really wanted, and other times it's like, well, I hope you enjoy the first season because that's all you're going to get.
So this was announced on, I believe, Tuesday, and it was a little odd because it just came out of nowhere. It was, I believe, it's just a tweet by HBO Max or the Harley Quinn Twitter that they got it or they got another season.
Hmm.
This is like the type of announcement that would be made at a DC fandom, and we learned a few hours ago that we're not getting a DC fandom this year.
Yeah,
uh,
I don't blame them, man.
they're
It's
Yeah,
citing that we're returning to in-person events, so they want to shift excitement to those events.
yeah.
I like the fandom though.
I liked it the first year. I didn't really love the second year. And to say liked it the first year is an understatement. I loved it the first year. The second year, I was just like casually just looking up the news after the fact. Like I don't feel the collection of events that they put together the second year was nearly as awesome.
yeah.
Was it 2 days both years?
It was really a 1 day event, but
Yeah,
they
one was
had
movies and one was comics,
something
basically.
like that. I don't remember
Yeah.
how they organized it. Yeah, but
But
it did go for 2 days. But they split it over 2 separate weeks or something like that. Yeah.
so I mean, this is on the heels of they just reworked their schedule, so now Shazam and Black or not Shazam and the Flash got shifted again to
Yeah.
early next year, late next year. So it kind of made sense. They wouldn't really have anything to show. I don't think they would want to
Yeah.
show the Flash right now. Maybe show
Yeah.
Aquaman. Like I don't know what they would present.
No, at this point, like anything that they would have shown is the same stuff we've already been hyped about for the past year. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
like they're not ready to play a new hand. And
Yeah.
it's fine.
Bigger things to worry about over
And
there.
they're still having trouble with press and
Yeah.
some. Yeah.
I'm not like where I started this year, like in hopes of DC versus where this year is
Oh,
ending.
Remember that trailer?
that hype trailer is just so
That
good.
hype trailer at the beginning of the year.
Dude.
This is the year of
Oh, man.
DC. Oh,
It hurts, man. We're like
it
we
does.
Do
started.
you really want to taste it? Like
I want to taste more Peacemaker always, but that was like the highlight of the year, man, for DC, and that's unfortunate.
we're like a
So
ways from more Peacemaker, dude. Like that stuff hasn't even filmed yet.
yeah, yeah,
Like
but it's not like huge, crazy
No.
CG, so
no.
I don't expect
He's
them
got to
take very
finish
long.
Guardians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What other news you got, Ricky?
Got don't usually like doing this type of thing, but it's coming from Variety, well trusted source. Also, from Deadline too. Kingsley is going to reprise his role as Trevor Slattery in a Wonder Man series at Disney Plus. This is the type of thing that I expect to get announced next week at a D23.
Yeah.
Ships leaking. What do you guys think? It makes sense, right? Wonder Man's a Hollywood dude. Trevor's a washed up actor. Put two and two together.
Like cool. I don't know. I don't want Trevor to be as important as he was to Shang-Chi. Like
To Wonder Man.
to Wonder Man. Yeah. So if he happens to show up, like for an episode because it's a funny joke, sure. If he's like the like secondary character to Wonder Man, I may have problems with that. You know what I mean? Like it's like Darcy, like I could
Mhm.
take Darcy in small doses,
I
but
could
when you
take him in
make
a
her
Darcy level role in a Wonder Man show, right?
no, I'm saying a
You want
Darcy
less?
level role is too much. Too much.
Mm,
If she would have been in like half the episodes of WandaVision, I would have been fine with it.
you
She
don't
was
get
in
Ben Kingsley though for
I
do you?
mean, do
Mm,
you remember his part in Iron Man 3? It's pretty silly.
no, but you don't get him for like one or two episodes.
Yeah, but he
I
provided the comic relief for Shang-Chi, you
yeah.
know. And I thought went well, but I kind of agree with Dennis in terms of really how much can you have of this character? Because again, if
Yeah.
all he is a washed up actor who played the Mandarin, what really important is he just keeps getting unlucky and stuck
Yeah.
with all these superhero
I
things? You know,
I agree with you on the I don't necessarily want more Trevor, but if you got a Ben Kingsley in your pocket, you're gonna play that card,
you know,
right?
They did play that
yeah,
card. You
And
don't
you're gonna play it
you
again because he's still in the party.
why? Why? You don't have to play it
There's
again.
four aces in a deck. You gotta
Yeah, and they're not all Ben Kingsley. They have you're really stressing that Marvel doesn't have enough aces in their deck that they need a Ben Kingsley. Like that's like I think the other real obvious thing we're missing here is it makes the universe small. If he's the only actor that is showing up every time they need an actor, you know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
small. It makes
Mhm.
the universe small, and I think we can have more people that have similar type stories, or like I don't know,
Well,
That's
more actors. Let everybody in the Marvel
I
that's
universe.
why
mean,
I
do you
agree.
wanna
It really depends if it's just a one episode, appearance, or if it's a sidekick.
I'll
Like if he's like his acting like teacher, that would be pretty funny. But just
all
shows
right.
up every now and then.
I'll ask you who's your Wonder Man, and then I'll share with you the predominant rumor at this
Gosh, I
moment.
have no idea.
I would like it to be Nathan Fillion, but I don't think it will be.
No.
Jeremy Allen White
That sounds familiar.
from
Is
The
that the
Bear.
guy? The Bear.
Oh,
Um. Hmm.
right?
It's a little small. He's a little small.
You can bulk up.
He's a short. No, I mean he's a short guy. He's a
It's
really
true.
short guy.
That's true.
But I do love him as an actor.
All right.
I won't I won't hate on it, but I'm having trouble seeing it. But like I was having a little trouble seeing Tatiana Maslany before the show came out too. But like it's not that I doubted her, it's just that I didn't know enough about how she would play the character. So I think it's just about seeing a snippet of Jeremy Allen White playing Wonder Man to be like, okay, now I see your angle that you're going for, you know. What
Well,
about you, Clark?
Um, I would agree with that. I want to see it, in action. But Wonder Man honestly is a character that I really don't care about much at
I
all, which is why I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna trust their casting has been so good over the
Yeah,
last decades.
Sarah Haley Finn has done it all.
You know,
Yeah,
I trust their casting, and
I will say that she generally does pick either
mhm,
HBO people or FX people.
mhm.
That's where she mines most of her talent from, and you could do a lot worse than either of those networks, you know.
I only
So
Yeah.
know Wonder Man from the Modoc show, so um, I like the bear.
Nathan Fillion played him in Modoc, right?
Yes, right.
Yeah, he did because that was like the a meta joke because he was supposed to play him years
Yes, it
ago.
was Nathan Fillion.
It was Nathan Fillion in
Yeah.
Modoc. Clark doesn't know because I can tell he never finished that show.
I
Yeah.
so didn't finish Modoc. You're
Well,
correct.
It's not great.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
I heard.
well, last little bit of news. Dennis, take it away. Who's this?
Oh man, this one, like I've been so busy, this one just kind of snuck up on me. I actually was many hours late to the pre-order on this, but I guess Hasbro has another Marvel Legends exclusive figure this week. It's Gore the God Butcher in his comic accurate look, and he comes with the Necro sword, and he comes with his full-on alien-y looking appearance, like both with the hood and without, and he's got like Leku, like he's a Star Wars character too.
You get a lot with this guy.
Um, yeah, he's pretty cool looking. I think he's awesome. I know some fans are a little mad because they can see little pinholes on him, and it's like you gotta assume.
I mean, this is the only gore you're getting, so
Yeah, this is the Gore you're gonna get, so just deal with it and enjoy it. He looks great. He looks like Gore. If you have the Thors from that storyline and you have like the Mighty Thor, the Jane Foster figures sitting around without any villains to fight, there he is. There's your villain finally. There you go. I hope I sold that, but he's like $30 on Amazon right now.
yep.
Um, and as predicted, all Marvel Legends packaging is now windowless.
Good for them.
Yeah, so there's no reason to go to a store to buy your figures anymore because it's a
The
more
box.
likely if you bring home a figure from the store and open it up, you're gonna get a wrestling figure inside of it instead of the thing you wanted. So,
Oh, really? Is that like the thing now?
oh man, you like the Marvel Legends toy collecting community is so freaking toxic that like that's one of the reasons I haven't gone to stores to buy my toys for like I don't know 8 years, something like that. But yeah, it's a thing. I've seen articles on it that like people are already doing that. They're buying them,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
swapping because like it's not like the
You
yeah
just
they're not
return
gonna
them, I
check.
guess.
Yeah, or they're not even buying them. They're just
Well, you
ripping
would
them
think,
open
yeah,
for
You put a rock in there.
if you returned it,
yeah.
they would, open it.
In theory,
I
they
think
would.
you're overestimating
Yeah, the
the
funny thing is they're so cranky about this new windowless thing, but the reality is like think about all other products you buy in the world. How many products really are windowed like in their boxes? You know what I mean? Like when you go to buy a TV, it's not in a window. Like you just get a
Yeah, but
picture.
you also don't put the box of the TV up on your wall because it looks so nice. I mean, these are products where they normally keep them within the box because the window lets them enjoy it without opening the pristine condition.
I get what you're saying. It's a feature, but it's is it is it a feature because that feature was necessary to sell the toy, or uh is it because people wanted it that way to begin with?
You're,
Do you know
when
what
I
I
Yeah.
mean?
bought my PlayStation 5, I was hoping it was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
there's no window in that box.
Yeah. I mean, even when you buy like
Well, when you buy
a
a phone,
you buy a Big Mac, it's just
yeah,
like like
Now I'm just
everything you buy.
imagining like if
what?
everything I
It's a
bought
quarter
was
pounder.
windowed.
Yeah. But no, I've seen stories about this guy going to buy the new Spider-Man figures, and he got to his car, opened them, it was wrestling figures. He took it back, returned it because he was right there. Then he went to another store, and apparently the same guy was pulling the same pranks there. So more wrestling figures in another one. So it's it's just this is the fans showing how awesomely toxic they can be. It's gross, man.
Yeah.
I can't handle it. That's why I've always just accepted uh one the figures are not expensive, right? Like they're like $25.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might get some paint blemishes because like what's what's happening, you're not buying an $80 figure. You're not buying $100 figure. You're not buying a hot
No,
toy,
it
you know what I
makes it
mean?
easier to open, right? Like,
Yeah. So like I don't know. I was so bummed yesterday. I was because I have like a Japanese like Spider-Man figure, like an import figure,
Mhm.
and way more expensive than a Marvel Legend, but way cooler looking, right? And I was swapping his hand, and the stupid little peg broke, and it's a clean break, and I don't think I can fix it. And I'm like, this is why I just buy the cheap figures because it's that much easier. You know what I mean? So I just don't understand why people get so upset at the fact that uh, it's this cheaper product is now trying to do what they can to be better on the environment, and instead of applauding them for that, we're doing baby stuff like putting wrestling figures in there. It's gross. It's gross.
yeah, at least put a good one in there.
Yeah, at least put DZ figures in there. It's funnier. Yeah.
All right, that's
All
all I
right.
got.
You guys
I'm
want to
done.
play a silly game?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. By the way, thanks for putting that news together, Ricky. It's very appreciated. All right, Clark, I didn't have time to create my own trivia today, but what I did is I Googled some trivia, and I found something at quizbreaker.com, and it's Marvel trivia questions and answers only comic fans will know. So in theory, that means that Clark should get these right and
I hate the
Ricky should
pressure.
get them wrong.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds good.
so I'm gonna just start reading them off, and then when you guys get sick and tired of this, we can stop. Oh, this looks like it's 10 questions, but we'll see how fast it goes. I'll let Clark go first every time, um, until he gets one wrong, and then I'll let Ricky go.
All right,
Um,
that's fair.
I think it's gonna be better that way. All right, first up, Clark. What's the name of Wolverine's mutant son in the comics?
Oh God,
Dakin.
That is correct. Daken or Dakin or whatever. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce it because I only ever read it in the
the
comics.
kind.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
Daken.
oh, Dakin. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Next up, in the comics, who's the first Avenger to quit the team?
Shoot. I want to say Hawkeye.
Yeah, it sounds like a Hawkeye thing that he would do.
That is incorrect. Ricky, you get a chance to steal.
Who's the quitter? I guess Iron Man. I'll throw Iron Man under the bus here.
Wow. It is the Hulk.
Oh, what? Why'd he quit?
Actually, because he's the Hulk. That makes
Because he's the
sense.
Hulk. Yeah,
Oh.
because I think he just felt like he was too dangerous to be part of the team.
Actually, that makes a lot more sense than Hawk because the Hulk stopped being in Avengers comics
A long time
a
ago.
long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he came back later when he
All
became
right.
smarter and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Number 3. After the cancellation of his first series, which comic did the Hulk make regular appearances in? That's for Clarke.
I know.
After his first comic was canceled, Hulk was canceled.
Why was the Hulk canceled? Did he say bad things?
It's not that kind of canceling.
West Coast Avengers.
I think you guys you're fast forwarding a lot. It was Tales to Astonish.
That actually was in my head. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to go back
Ricky
further.
Ricky is not going to get this one, but we'll let him try.
All right.
Captain America made his first appearance in what comic book?
Oh God, it's like a military one. It's like I don't know. I couldn't tell your name. Military adjacent comics.
Clarke, do you want to try?
It's the one where he's punching Hitler in the face, but I thought it was called Captain America 1.
It is.
Yeah.
it is. It's called Captain America Comics #1, March 1941. That's why I knew Ricky wouldn't get it because he just wouldn't go for the obvious answer.
No, well,
Yeah. That was surprising. All right, Clarke, who did the Winter Soldier take shelter with during Infinity War? How is this?
Hmm?
That's not a comics question, guys.
oh, like
Yeah,
that-
wait,
that
Winter
a movie?
Soldier wasn't in Infinity War.
There's
That's a movie
No,
question.
there
No.
was Infinity War was a separate.
The Winter
event.
Soldier did not exist when
Yeah.
the Infinity
Yeah,
War comic.
that's
took
a-
place.
Well, the Gauntlet, the Infinity Gauntlet was the first one, but then they did do Infinity War and Infinity Quest.
Both of them were in the 90s, and the Winter
Yes,
Soldier is only existed in the comics for like the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So that's dumb.
Wakanda.
Black Panther,
Yeah,
sure.
Black Panther.
Whatever.
Yeah.
All right. That's weird and dumb. Okay, here's another one that's kind of works for both. Yeah, some of these questions are like,
Hey man,
you're lazy. Yeah, I did. I can judge it. I didn't make it. I can judge it. All right, here you go, Clarke. How many Infinity Stones are there?
6.
Yeah, that's it. That was the answer. You bonus question or bonus if you can name them all.
Space, time, power, reality, soul. And which one am I missing?
It's like the one
He's trying to give you
hints, Clarke.
Mind. Thanks.
There you go. Good job. All right, I'll give this one to Ricky. Ricky, what species is Groot?
Flora Colossus, right?
Nice. Well done.
I didn't know that. Good job.
Clarke, in the comics, what's the name of Thor's alter ego?
Donald Blake.
Correct. That is correct.
Dr. Donald Blake.
Clarke, what's the name of the comic book magazine that printed the first story starring Doctor Strange?
Acid Dropper #1.
Well, now I don't want to say Tales to Astonish, but I'm going to go Strange Tales.
That is correct. All right, I'll give Ricky this one because I think he can get it. In what Marvel Comics title did the Silver Surfer first appear?
I mean, it's gonna be an obvious one, like Silver Surfer #1. I mean, he's a Fantastic Four character, right? It's a Fantastic Four.
Yes. Fantastic Four. That is what he's normally associated with, even if that says Silver Surfer behind me.
That's why Fox got the rights when they.
Yes, that's why Fox owns him. Well, there you go. Good job, guys.
All right.
You did pretty good. It was a lot of softballs, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it definitely didn't have the zing that I like to throw in there. But
How many Fantastic Four movies do you want before Silver Surfer comes in?
it's not like
The
Silver
precedent is
Surfer. The trick is the Silver Surfer is a package deal with Galactus.
yeah,
You
but you'll
don't
get him
you-
first before we see like he'll show up in one movie before we see a Galactus.
No, that means they're doing it wrong. If he shows up an entire story before Galactus,
Yeah.
they have done it wrong.
All right.
If you want to introduce the Silver Surfer properly, you let people know where he came from, what his whole deal is. You know what I mean? And he's intertwined with Galactus. So I don't want both of them in the first one, but
The catch is if you're going to do Silver Surfer from when he was the Herald of Galactus, or just jump ahead and have Silver Surfer after he's already freed himself from Galactus, and
That's true.
and talk about the Herald part
Yeah.
in a flashback.
But the trick is Galactus is
Yeah.
in Secret Wars. In the comics, he's in the Secret Wars. So if you're trying to assemble all the pieces to have,
I would be shocked if Galactus does not appear.
I'm just putting
before
this
Secret
out
Wars.
there.
Yes.
At this point, we are very few characters shy of the full roster of Secret Wars. We now have Titania in the MCU. Like, we're pretty close to being done. We also have the Wrecking Crew,
Yep.
which that's me jumping ahead, but I'm just saying we're really close to filling out the entire Secret Wars team. So in that respect, I kind of do want Galactus and Silver Surfer fast. But who knows? Maybe it depends on how the Fantastic Four is done, right? Maybe it's done in a way that introduces the Fantastic Four as somebody that have been going on missions for a long time, but they've been somewhere else. But now this is the big one that they need to be there for to help with, you know?
I mean, it makes sense that you would. We've gotten 2 Doom-centric, I guess technically 3 Doom-centric Fantastic Four movies or arcs or however you want to break it down.
Yeah.
Maybe mix that'd be a way to mix it up. But
yeah, I guess if Doom is established before the movie, like if we meet Doctor Doom well before Fantastic Four,
which I want,
then I'm totally fine with the first
Yeah.
Fantastic Four movie being Galactus.
Mhm.
all right.
That would be pretty cool. I just don't like them competing for time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Well, Galactic costs money on screen.
yeah, no, I know, but I mean they're getting pretty good at that, at having money. Bonus question related to money, Ricky. What was the first Marvel movie to earn $1 billion?
Black Panther. Right? $1 billion? No, it's Avengers. Sorry, it's Avengers. Am I wrong still?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, what? What are you talking about? You know what? I'll give you one more, Clarke. I'm in the movie category now. These are fun, weird movie ones. In how many MCU movies does Phil Coulson make his appearance?
Ooh, that's a good one.
You can take your time. Do 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 do.
Or post credits can count.
Yes, they count. Anything counts if he's in it. You telling me Nick Fury is not an Iron Man? He's an Iron Man. He's totally an Iron Man.
Did you stay through the credits the first time you watched Iron Man?
Hell yeah.
I didn't.
I stayed because I love that movie so much
wanna
that I
say
wanted to stay till the end.
5.
That is correct. You want to name them?
Yeah. Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, and Avengers.
He is not in Captain America. He's in Captain Marvel.
Yeah. He's not Captain America.
I thought,
Yeah,
wasn't he in the post credits of Captain America? Oh, he wasn't. Okay,
no,
then it was
it's
then
just
it's
a bunch
Captain
of
Marvel.
it's Nick
Okay,
Fury's in the post credits
Yeah.
of Captain
all right.
America. Yeah, but
Well, I'm
you
glad
still
I got it right,
you got
even
the
though
number right
I got the
either
number
way.
right, which is
Ah,
the
yeah,
question
good
is.
job.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're done with that trivia for
Hmm.
now. Why don't we talk about our first spotlight for the night? Oh man, I love the title of this episode. Uh, so yeah, we're talking about episode 8 of season 3 of Harley Quinn, titled "Batman Begins Forever." And for those of you who may not have watched it before, tuning into our show, spoiler warning: just come back. We promise it's more fun if you watched it. Like, you should be watching the show. It's like 25 minutes long, super entertaining, really funny, stupid stuff that
Yeah.
justifies the title Batman Begins Forever. But yeah, like just to be clear, I think it's so early on, from like these episodes came out today. No, actually, IMDb does have a summary for this episode. It says, after Harley receives access to Bruce Wayne's mind, she gets stuck in an endless loop of his most formative memory, hence the title. uh Clark, what'd you think of this episode?
I loved it. I thought this was the best one of the whole season so far for so many meta levels, and there was there were so many lines and specific things like, how many times do we have to see this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're not only speaking for the characters but all of us. uh
They were.
As this concept of how many times do we have to watch Bruce Wayne's parents be killed, and then they just made us watch it like 20 times in a row. Right after making
They're
that,
just
I'm
like,
like, this is so Harley Quinn.
no matter which way people
Yeah.
turned, there was an alley, and Thomas and Martha Wayne were getting murdered in it. That was so good. Ricky, what'd you think about this one?
I mean, just going back to the title, it's a parody, right? The title, but it's also like the most perfect title
Yeah.
because it's really like a whole new spin on his origin. We get like a very fresh perspective on Batman's trauma through the eyes of Harley Quinn.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it's a fresh perspective. I think it was nice that, like, I mentioned this last week, but like we've really gotten a lot of therapist Harley this season. Like, this entire season, every episode she's made you remember, or she's reminded the audience that she is a licensed therapist, and this episode was no different. In fact,
This is where it really shined. Yeah.
she entered a
Yeah.
doctor-patient
Yes.
confidentiality agreement inside the mind of Batman, and now knows his secret identity and is sworn to protect it. And that was the most awesome thing ever about this episode,
Yeah.
is that she got to understand him, she got to appreciate him, and actually be kind of like, he's kind of badass, like, like after she's seen it, like all of his memories together. And I really love that all of his memories are like a collage, or like a montage of scenes recreated from other Batman properties, like the one of him running on the
With
pier
the
carrying the
bomb. Yeah.
bomb, yeah,
Hmm.
from the old Adam West movie. And then
Get
there's
the
the penguins, like
Yeah.
from Batman Returns.
You get the line from Batman Begins, right?
Like, to me, this was just the top cleverness of Harley Quinn writing. Like, this episode was everything that's great about the show.
But also Batman writing too, because like a lot of this season, I felt
Yes.
like they've really flipped Batman on his head and tried to make a joke out of him for a lot of the show.
Hmm.
But this was a true love letter to the character for sure. Like, it's like the writers understand that Harley Quinn can only exist because Batman exists. Like, um, that was a really clever thing they did, and
And
What was
And
that?
also, and also the scene where she sees herself back when she was Joker's henchman again hits that self reflection. I mean, there
Yeah.
were just so many levels of she's like, oh, great. Now, like, and then
She
to
was
put her
pretty one
as
note.
Robin, to
Yeah.
put her as Robin in that was so, yeah. Again, just the writing was just so well done.
I think I mentioned this to you guys right before that we started recording. But and I've mentioned it to Ricky every freaking week that we've been talking about this show. But I have been insisting that the show just wasn't hitting the same for me all season long, 7 episodes deep. I liked it. I like, the first few episodes I thought were okay. But as we progressed, I was like, I like it, but there's something I need that's very specific that's missing, and it's Dr. Psycho, and I was so freaking happy that like
The
they
minute he
needed
showed
him.
up,
Mhm.
The minute
I knew.
he
I was
showed up,
like, "This is for Dennis."
it was so good, and he wasn't even a massive misogynist this time either. But
Mhm.
like he's still in the show, so give him time. He can do it. But he was making a lot of like gross remarks about like whenever Harley and Ivy were being touchy feely or whatever. That was adorable. I loved it. I love how disgusted he was by their love for each other. But yeah, no, Tony Hale came back. He started out as like a podcaster hanging out in prison, just trying to get his listeners and everything. And they recruited him because they needed to get inside the mind of Bruce Wayne. And he's even reminds you of the rules of how that works because like it's the same rules every time we do it. I think this is like the third time they've done that,
Yeah.
right? Like there's every season there's been one episode where they get inside somebody's mind, right? And they play with like inception type storylines and stuff. I'm trying to remember what the other ones they did before. Uh who else's minds did they go inside in the previous seasons?
Didn't they go in Ivy's mind?
Might have. One of them they went in Harley's mind, right? One of the seasons they went in Harley's mind, and you got to see her the birth of Harley Quinn
Mhm.
through that one. I can't remember if the other time was Harley's mind, but yeah, for sure. Um, what else? What else is there to say about this episode? Uh,
I like the I don't think I've read a Batman story or familiar with the Batman story where he tries to bring back his parents. Like, I'm sure
yeah,
it's existed. I don't know why he wouldn't. Isn't that what the Lazarus Pit does?
Yeah.
But I-
it's
I'm
pretty
down with it.
gross. It's
I'm
pretty
down with it.
gross.
Like a crazy Bruce Wayne.
I I agree with you, Dennis. Like watching the whole season at once, I was like, wow, they're really taking it to Bruce Wayne this season. Like I was like, but that's one of the reasons why I said how is its own universe, because like the Jim Gordon and the Bruce Wayne of this universe are losers.
They're not
they're,
ideal. They're
they're
not
not.
ideal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're not. And especially this season, they really portrayed. But like the previous episode though that had the musical analysis between Catwoman and Bruce,
Oh yeah, the Music
where
Meister.
the music meister, about how Bruce doesn't want to be alone and stuff. I think it plays into the again the crazy aspect of this Bruce who'd be willing to resurrect his parents as zombies without the
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not a stretch though. Like, I mean,
no, yeah,
canonically, Batman in the comics has done some pretty effed up things.
yes,
Um, has he ever raised an army of the dead? Not sure. I don't think he has. But I'm not gonna rule it out.
yeah.
Just
A lot of
because
Batman. There's 80 years of Batman.
It's
there's
it's it's
Probably
it.
tried it
His
once.
there's a lot
his
of
weakness
Batman.
is his parents. Yeah,
Yes, it is his
And a
parents. Like,
Migmo contingency, right?
yeah.
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 There is like I think one of my favorite parts of the old Batman comic Hush. was early on in the beginning. Um, or wait, is it Hush? No, it's not. It's Tower of Babel, Justice League Tower of Babel.
Hmm.
Um, that's a really fun story where
It's a great story.
Ra's al Ghul gets Talia to go
Mhm.
and sneak into the Batcave and steal Batman's files that have like all the weaknesses for all the members of the Justice League. And before they're gonna take out the Justice League with all these like secret, information, they're like, "How do we get Batman off the table?" And they don't even try to consider let's go kill Batman, right? Because it's like
Mhm.
that's like the furthest thing from possible for these villains. Like they don't even try to kill Batman. Instead, what they do is they send somebody to the cemetery with a shovel and they dig up Thomas and Martha. So the next time, like clockwork, that Bruce goes to the cemetery to visit his parents, like he always does, and he sees two dug up graves, he loses it. He loses it and goes on a tear across the world looking for any information as to who did this. And that's all they needed to do to occupy Batman. So when you ask me, has he ever done anything like this? Man, it's very possible. Like but I did like that about this episode is how
Mhm.
it really boiled Batman down to the one moment. Like
Yeah.
that's it. That's his entire identity. Like that's why he's such a weird, crazy character because he can never he can never grow from that moment the way a normal human being should figure out a way to process death and
Mhm.
move on.
Which is why that revelation that Joe Chill was adult Bruce Wayne blaming himself,
Yeah.
child Wayne for his parents' death.
All for an
Again,
Antonio Banderas movie.
yeah.
Oh, that's what that was?
No, it
Uh,
was an older
that
Zorro. Remember,
that
they
was a
said the
joke.
black and white. Yeah,
That was the joke that Harley made in the
yeah.
episode.
Oh.
She's like, "I can't believe all this was for an Antonio Banderas movie," and he's like, "No, not that one. That's the remake." like, but yeah, no, he his need to go see the Mark of Zorro and then also to go walk through Crime Alley, he feels that it's his fault, and yeah, that was cool. I like that. I don't think I've ever seen that story specifically told that way, but I also always felt like he did feel the burden was
Mhm.
his.
And it's
Like
so different from I. So many shows today, they have kids do something that ends up causing harm or something, and they're always, oh, it's not your fault, you didn't know, and stuff. And this is just taking the opposite. We're like, no, you know, the kid though feels that it was absolutely, his fault and stuff, which is, yeah, as you said, quintessential Batman. That drives him to do everything, or as Harley said, white witch billionaire taking on ninja types.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
At a glance when she
and
was looking at his life, it was
I
it
love,
was easy
yeah,
easy to judge for sure.
I just like
until she didn't get that this is Batman until
Yeah,
he
it
puts
took a
on the
minute.
uniform. Yeah.
It took a minute,
Oh, that
but
scene was so good.
like all the quips about like him being rich. Like, yeah, rich people don't pay copays.
Yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
this system is so effed. Yeah.
It's like,
I
why didn't you
also
build affordable housing?
Who
yes.
pays for housing?
People pay for housing. Yeah, like the universe that man lives in is so different from the regular people. And I love when they showed Psycho who the person they needed to get into their brain was. And he's like, "What? That's the top 1% of the
Yeah,
1%. Those people are the weirdest. They're the freaks. Like he didn't want to go in his brain because he knew it wasn't going to be good. I did like that they had some like weird, like very simple, unexplained reason for kicking the rest of them out so that only Harley is there to experience the rest of that episode. And then the rest of the time, everybody else is just kind of like, I don't know, just hanging out, doing nothing. And then but
I
I
love the little King Shark cutaway too, where he
he's
goes
got
into
his
his
minions.
room and yeah,
Yeah.
he has his little army in there.
Yeah, they're giving you the little hints. Like I have said before, like the weirdest thing still about this season is it doesn't find enough time for all the four main characters. Um, but I appreciate that this one at least gave you a little bit a window into King Shark's life going post, post last week. And I also like that it's still continuing this narrative of Clayface being Billy Bob Thornton in the Thomas Wayne
Well, does
biopic.
that anxiety get like lifted now that you know there's more eventually?
Yeah, yeah, it does because I felt like this is the eat, kill, bang tour, right? Like
Yeah.
this is the honeymoon phase of Harley and Ivy or Harl Ivy. But I wanted to see them after the honeymoon phase, and I feel like that's what another season can afford, right? Like they're gonna come to some very real realizations about themselves by the end of this season, which is only 2 episodes away, by the way. So I just felt like I was more upset with the pace of this season when I thought that HBO and Discovery were surely going to cancel it. But now knowing that they get a fourth season, they get to resolve things, and that's
It's
awesome.
it's weird. Like, usually like maybe that's a stinger on the final episode. Hey, we're doing a season 4, or like the next day or week after the last episode airs. Hey, we're doing another one. They wanted to get that out in the
I think it's
world
important though.
to like
Yeah.
put
I
it
mean,
on to document it that hey,
well, here, case in point, why
no
the
take
last man?
backsies.
Why the last man? Remember when I was really excited about that show and I was watching it whenever I could, because I love the book. But then, like, I think after 3 or 4 episodes, they announced that it was canceled.
Yeah.
And I think they put out more episodes, but I just stopped watching it because, like, if you know that it's not going to have the ending that's satisfying, why bother, right? And so I think with all of the news going around about Warner and Discovery, I think a lot of people were very much like myself and you too. We were under the impression that this is probably the last Harley Quinn we're getting. And so I think it's important to
Yeah.
rejuvenate the the viewership by revitalize it by getting people to know, hey, it's gonna keep going. So
Yeah.
you don't
Now
have
we
to
know
quit.
that season 4 is the last season of Harley Quinn.
Yeah. And suddenly like I
It's not.
enjoy
I'm just
season
joking.
3 I enjoy season 3 so much more now knowing, like Clarke got to watch all of season 3 knowing that there was a season 4. That's pretty cool. Um I wish I would have gotten that cuz it definitely like what after the first week of this episode or this show every week after was like,
A
"Uh-oh, is
little
it going to
rough.
last?"
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm very happy with it, and I thought as a Batman fan, I really love this episode. As a Harley fan, it was just they're just like they really did want to show you how far she's come from being
Hmm.
the clown sidekick to the
Yeah.
Joker, and they did that wonderfully. They did it wonderfully. So
She's clown adjacent.
she is clown adjacent now.
Just, yep.
I love when she wanted to show young Bruce how banging her butt looks in those shorts, and she's like, "Never mind, you're 8." Like. And then I also love later that she complained about Robin's thong.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was so awesome. Yeah, that was disgusting and good. I can't remember any other specific zingers that I loved in that episode, but I do know that they were most likely Dr. Psycho. I don't know if you guys got anything else you want to add about this episode.
Another solid Harley Quinn entry. I'm excited to explore dead zombie
I look forward to the next one.
Martha and Thomas Wayne.
Yep.
2 more left, and we can know, and now we know that
He can rest.
both Harley and the Joker know Batman's identity, and that's cool. It's really weird and cool.
I mean, I guess the one last thing is since I watched everything before and I didn't get to comment before, another one of the fun parts about the series is how they're able to take the characters in completely different ways. And I have to say how much I love Stepfather Joker. I know we already discussed those episodes, and you already did, and I wasn't there around them. But watching through them, I'm like, oh my gosh, I absolutely love this version of the Joker. He
That
is
episode was my favorite.
hilarious.
That episode
Yes.
was my favorite episode until this week.
But I think
Yeah.
it's for a lot of the same reason. It is how it shows the Joker and Harley, both of them, how they have changed from when they were codependently horrible together to now
Yeah.
that they're separate and doing their own lives and doing things completely different. How
They're free of the burden of Batman, right? Like
yes,
they don't
yeah,
he's not their shadow anymore.
mhm,
Like he's not the driving force behind the Joker. And so the Joker filled that void with a new life, and
mhm,
it's really beautiful and weird.
yeah,
But also now Harley can move on from the Batman too. And not that she really cared about him anyways. But now that there's a really good chance Harley's never going to try to murder Batman,
yeah,
because there's a mutual respect. And at this point, that's all I want, is to make some characters safe from Harley murdering, because that was not the Mad Hatter. Like
yeah, no,
the Mad Hatter,
no.
that was quite shocking to me. As much as I enjoyed it, I did not expect a character that hilariously perverse to die so
Fan
fast.
favorite, Mad Hatter.
Fan favorite, yes. Yeah. But yeah, I guess we could probably stop talking about Harley Quinn. I love the show. Now that I got a Dr. Psycho back in the mix, I'm all on board. I'm definitely more excited every Thursday that comes around right now, till this wraps up. So if you haven't watched it, you should check it out, and so that way you understand what the hell we just talked about for 30 minutes. Let's do it, Ricky. Cool. All right. The last spotlight we're doing is on She-Hulk, season 1, episode 3. She-Hulk Attorney at Law. Same spoiler warning applies as last time. And yeah, this episode was called The People versus Emil Blonsky. And the storyline, the summary was She-Hulk represents Emil Blonsky, aka the Abomination, but his parole hearing doesn't go as planned. Um, that really doesn't do it justice at all. I freaking love this show so much.
This was a TV show ass TV show episode, and it was great.
It
Very
was
focused, a little bit to add to the big plot, kind of a B story for the most of it, but it felt complete, you know.
I'm gonna say my biggest criticism of this show is that we are not gonna get enough of it. I want more.
Right?
I want this to be a 24 episode full season network show. I want to see it every week.
I
It
the
do.
is it is so good.
the 30 minutes
It's
is doing it
hilarious.
justice because, like, unlike some of the past shows, even Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, Hawkeye, there were times where like I'm ready for this to end. Example being the flashback in Miss Marvel, the LARPing scene in Hawkeye. I could have, let's just trim it up. I was left. I felt full after watching each episode, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I don't think it's a good thing
No,
either.
I'm still hungry after every
Yeah,
episode.
after
Yeah.
She-Hulk, I'm still hungry. I'm
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
excited. I want more.
Every
And
week.
and it's I haven't been this excited for like a show probably since WandaVision. You know,
I For me, I think this show is up there with What If, because I think they do a lot of the same things, where it's like every week you tune in because you want to see what's going to happen, because you don't know what's going to
Mhm.
happen, and you don't know what cool characters or what pocket of the Marvel universe is going to show up. You know what I mean? And but because I mentioned that because that's what my wife was saying. Like she definitely feels that What If vibe, And the more I thought about it, the more I realized it was like, because the whole reason I like this show is because it feels exactly like the comics. And the more I thought about it, it's because I like the comics because they kind of feel like what if, because they just do they explore those weird little corners of the universe that nobody else dares to explore. And it's just ridiculous, dude. Like I think it's important to point out, like you were mentioning, it did follow a TV formula. There was an A plot and a B plot in this episode,
They
and
connect them.
they end up connecting them, and she breaks the fourth wall to mention, and the B plot connects to the A plot. Nice, like. But yeah, the A plot was Jen trying to uh, defend Emil in his parole hearing after last week we just learned that video footage of that scene from Shang-Chi came out to the public, and now his hearing's in jeopardy because he's clearly escaped prison, right? So they've got to figure out a way around that. And then the B plot is uh Pug, aka Pugliese, has been strapped with the burden of defending Dennis Bukowski, who's been like a totally minor misogynist showing up in the whole season so
He's
far.
this show's
He's the
doc,
show's Dr. Psycho.
yeah, Doctor Psycho.
But it turns out he needs a superhuman law defense because he got swindled out of a bunch of money from who he thought was Megan the Stallion, but it turns out it was a light elf from New Asgard. Um,
Shape
that's
changer.
ridiculous. Yeah, it's a shape who happens to be a
Royalty.
shape changer.
Yeah.
Royalty, is that what you said?
Yeah, or some type of elf
Or
royalty.
she
Light
was
elf.
the daughter. Yeah, she was a light up, but she had diplomatic immunity.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
she had diplomatic immunity because she was from New Asgard, and she tried to make the
No,
argument.
she had diplomatic immunity in New Asgard
Yeah,
because she was elven royalty.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, gotcha,
Mhm.
gotcha.
Yeah, but they're like, that's why they had. Well, that was one of my favorite lines when they said, "Okay, well that doesn't count for Asgard. We're in America now." And she's like, "Asgard is not a place; it's a
It's a
people."
people.
And the judge said, um,
Thor's
"Thor's
speeches. We're
speeches don't
aware of Thor's
Thor's
speeches, and they
speeches."
don't. Yeah, they don't. They're
Not
not
admissible
law.
in court.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this episode is great. Like it rode the line of, I'm gonna use the word reality loosely here, on the reality of a superhuman lawyer and the type of stuff that they would deal with, like bringing Wong in, the Sorcerer Supreme, to testify, right? But then it's very quick to like, well, Wong, you just like broke the law, dude.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I'm out. Like,
Yeah.
and what are you gonna do? You're not gonna go
Mhm.
chase Wong. Like,
Well, no, I don't think it's wrong for you to use the term reality, because like that's my favorite thing about She-Hulk is they address it with the pure comedic realism
yeah,
that
Mhm.
would happen if all of this was taking place in a real world. And so that's what's funny, and that's why I've enjoyed every episode so much, is because I can see the logical progression of where it's coming. And so every week I tune in, and I'm not actually surprised. I'm really overjoyed because it's like, okay, there's the media attention that I was expecting her to get. There's the news asking her for her diet and exercise routine. There's, like
oh, that intro was good,
And
dude.
when they
all of that, all of
when
it.
All
that little montage where they put their haters
Oh
some
that
of
man.
are
those
right
tweets
right
were
from real life.
lifted
Some of those tweets were
directed
totally
from,
lifted
yeah. Some of
directly
them were
from life
Oh
into it, and I was
man.
like, "Oh, that's brilliant."
She took the masculinity from Hulk. Why they gotta be so many women? Oh man.
they they
That
and good for
was
them for going there, like
amazing.
being
Good
that
for them.
self-aware on,
Yeah,
at this point, like it's much needed.
I mean, the MCU is a thing that's been uttered for a
Yeah,
few years now, and it's gross because like it implies that that's a bad thing, because like it's the same thing. Like I still don't understand why woke is a bad thing. Like, I don't get it. Like, being aware of other people and other perspectives is a bad thing, and because you choose to represent that, like, that's so weird to me. And so, like, the idea that having more women in Marvel universe is a bad thing, man, this country's gross, dude. Like, this so many people in this world that just should not be allowed to play at the same table or sit at the same table as the adults. It's really gross, you know? And so I really appreciate this show for just going right for the jugular and just telling them, this is what you look like. This is how stupid you look, you know? So I love it. I love it, man.
And the press when she's walking in and they're like, were you kicked out of the Avengers? And there you go. Rumor that Jennifer Walter
She-Hulk was kicked out of the
She-Hulk's
Avengers.
was
Yeah.
Avengers.
Yeah. Or rejected from
But
the Avengers. Yeah.
but one of the things again that I loved about this episode is the same reason that I love Daredevil is that it really was like for most of it for the A plot was a courtroom drama. It was her as Jennifer Walters, not She-Hulk. I mean,
And
it was
the B
that
plot.
aspect. Yeah, and the B plot. But I mean, they still had like the wrecking crew.
Oh,
We get into that scene and stuff. But the fact that it was her life as a lawyer that she still does that still is so
Mhm.
important. That it's still the essence of the character, and then seeing her win on those, from her mind, from
Mhm.
using the lawyer skills, from that it was just so great. Again, it's so exciting because so often, like we don't get excited a lot of times about the alter egos of the superheroes. We care more about the superhero part, but no, I mean, I wouldn't really watch a drama about Donald Blake, medical doctor, without Thor, or,
Yeah.
in that. But this
They
was,
they were
Yeah.
they were pretty smart to set the parole hearing in the jail
yeah.
because she can't use her powers there.
Yeah.
And then to
I.e.,
have,
just
and then
keep
to
her.
have Blonsky actually be converted, like to really have him
Mhm.
go that way to be the cult guy. I'm like, okay,
I know Ricky
Yeah.
stared at his cod piece
that's
for sure.
Oh, well, in Shang-Chi, he was not rocking any pants. He was,
Yeah.
he's like a Ken doll.
Yeah.
Um,
He does
on
turn
the
into
on
a
that
Ken doll.
note, that I think this they still haven't really confirmed it, but I would say this implies that that prison's set in California because they show her driving back from it, immediately after when she tells
I don't
the
know that it implies that. Um, she could be driving to the airport.
it
You know what I
looked
mean?
like the outskirts of Los Angeles and
Yeah,
out
but
out
that's
of her
that's
car.
weird. Why would you hold Emil Blonsky at a prison in California?
Well, it
You
could
know
be
what I mean?
it could be more than one super prison, right?
I was trying to figure out which super prison it was.
That's not my point. Is like
Yeah,
if he was
yeah.
arrested in New York and tried for crimes in New York, why would the super prison be built in California?
Well, these aren't New York crimes. They didn't say it's
They are New York crimes.
pretty sure it's a federal offense or whatever beyond that is.
But I'm saying, like, we know of the raft that exists out in the ocean, and we
Yeah.
know, like, so I'm kind of curious, like,
I don't know why
what
you show that establishing shot, that particular establishing shot, if
also
it wasn't set in LA.
also the DODC was in New York in Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the headquarters. So it's possible that they're just skipping the parts where she's flying. Or
Mm.
she can also jump really far too, She can jump really fast or get
What
places pretty far.
She could definitely get down, as we saw in the post-credit scenes. I'll touch on that. Like, I had no doubts that once they started saying Megan Thee Stallion, that they would get Megan Thee Stallion to show up in the
Oh, they
show.
announced it like a year or
Yeah.
two ago that Megan Thee Stallion
Um,
was going to be in this
and
show.
she had her little cameo. Megan Thee Stallion's known for twerking. I wasn't expecting Megan Thee Stallion to twerk on the She-Hulk show. I'm glad that she did. I'm glad that She-Hulk got to partake with her. It's just something I never thought I would see.
Megan the Stallion, I will kill for you.
Like, good for them for, like, you know.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, She-Hulk is the most realistic character in the Marvel universe because she's the only one that's actually having fun living in that universe. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
everybody else takes it so seriously, man. But like, she constantly thinks it's ridiculous that she's a Hulk. Like, and she embraces the absurdism of everything though. And like, what's crazier than real life, right? So like, that's what I think is so awesome about the show and the comic is that they both address how ridiculous everything is that's going on all the time. Like, like you binge 20 some Avengers movie or Marvel movies, and you get a very satisfying conclusion to like the Infinity Saga, right? It's like it's epic. It makes you cry. It makes you feel all these things. But it's all crazy. It's bonkers, man. And so like I
Yeah,
love that She-Hulk is
we
just
got the ramp up to the crazy, right, through 25 plus movies. And
right.
it's nice to see someone who's experiencing like the switch,
And
the instant.
she's coming in from the outside perspective of like,
Mhm.
ugh, that life is crazy, so I
It's
can't
insane to think about it, right?
I
Like,
can't wait till she meets Daredevil
I
because
know.
that guy is the most serious, dude. That guy
I know.
doesn't know how to just chill. Like, he
And I
doesn't.
so hope that they get to have um, courtroom scenes, not
mhm.
just
They're gonna. They're
yeah,
gonna. There's no way they're not gonna have courtroom
yeah.
scenes together.
who
Like,
who is the Wrecking Crew, and who's their boss?
uh, well, I wouldn't get excited about who their boss is in the comics because it's not gonna be their boss in this. I promise you that. The Wrecking Crew is a group of random like dudes that were gifted magical powers by Loki um, to go and fight Thor. I think to fight Thor, right? I think that sounds right. Yeah,
They're
because
Asgard
Probably to fight
adjacent
them.
though.
Thor and or Hulk, kind of both. Yeah, and yeah, that's their names: Wrecker, Thunderball. Um, I'm trying to remember the other ones. Uh,
Crowbar and
no,
Hard Hat.
Wrecker's the one.
Wrecker's the
Wrecker's the one with the
crowbar.
crowbar. Wrecker, Thunderball. I forget
I don't remember.
the
Yeah.
other two. But yeah, this was a
Holdover Pile Driver.
Bulldozer and Pile Driver. Thank you. They're ridiculous. They're like the most fodder of like Marvel villains. Like, but they are of a higher strength scale than most. Like so. They're like the guys that like the Hulk or Thor can beat up in a one shot issue because they showed up to go rob a bank or something like that. Um, they're a little stronger than a Spider-Man type, villain, but I'm sure he could take them because they're stupid. They're stupid. They literally came at She-Hulk with construction equipment and they lost, and that was really funny. But yeah, they mysteriously were trying to extract her blood for their boss. And I don't think the boss is Loki. I don't think that's Loki's journey anymore, right?
No.
Like I
No.
don't think he's holding grudges. I think Tom Hiddleston's off somewhere else being way serious, like with the rest of the universe, right? About the stakes and all these things. So I I kind of want their boss, honestly, to be the leader. Like I want
That that lines up, right?
I want the leader to be the guy that wants to test She-Hulk's blood.
You need the blood.
Hey, he
It, they,
wanted. He was all about blood.
I
I
kind of
know he's
want it.
not low level in the comics, but I would assume he's pretty low level in the MCU, right?
Well, he's in the
Mm,
MCU.
he's like the Hulk's number one
I
villain.
know, but if he was the Hulk's number one villain, we would have. I know why we haven't seen him for legal reasons, but he would have been a bigger figure, right?
Well,
No,
they
not
they had him
necessarily.
in the
Kang has
Incredible
been a
Hulk.
big yeah, Kang has been a big figure. I know.
And,
We've been talking about that all season
yeah,
long. Is Ricky's been waiting for the leader
there to
to
come
show up
back.
I
officially.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I can connect the dots to the leader to a bunch of guys to the guy a bunch of guys with construction equipment.
Yeah.
Those dots connect to me because I don't think the leader is a big player or has been a big player up until this point.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't necessarily, but like, does it make sense that the leader would be supplying random people with Asgardian construction tools? Mm, no, not necessarily, but maybe he didn't. Maybe they just found them and he employed them.
Mhm.
You know, like this is how like they've got social media. They could have like a black market like you know, hire a goon to go do supervillain stuff, you know.
'Cause,
Who
like,
knows?
the way I'm seeing it, they're either gonna try to get her blood when she's not the Hulk, which seems like a possibility, or go after the Abomination again, either when he's not, because
Well,
all their blood is related.
yeah, alternatively, it could be Titania because we don't know anything about Titania. But I, I don't know. I don't know. I'm fine with it being somebody that we don't know and we don't find out till the end. You know who it really could be? It could be Valeria uh, DeFontaine or Val DeFontaine or whatever. You know what I mean? It could be her.
We haven't
We
seen her
haven't seen
since,
her character in a
Hawkeye,
while.
right? Since Hawkeye or Cap?
Yeah.
Or
I honestly think that we might not see more of Blonsky this season.
No.
I feel like this
Yeah.
was a really good setup for him to show up later in Thunderbolts. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't be opposed to Blonsky showing up more through the season. It could be funny. I mean, you know, it's somebody that She-Hulk could fight, but I don't see him going back to prison so quickly, you know, because like by the way, like did you see his 7 soulmates how some of them just gushed when he turned in the abomination? Like what was that? Like what like
hey, man, I'm not gonna yuck someone's yum if that's their thing, then
Their favorite movie is The Shape of Water.
yeah,
maybe
They like
maybe
the
um
scales.
what do you think about Wong? Like I mean you mentioned earlier how funny it was that he just dipped out after he was accused of a crime. Um but
But I think,
he's got more appearances than Coulson, right?
yeah,
oh, yeah.
and I think though that it also fit. But in his mind, he just wanted. He became Sorcerer Supreme. He knows by default, and he wants to prove himself and to challenge himself to do that. That all makes perfect sense in Wong's mind, and then and then it's like, okay,
Yeah, I mean, Wong, the sorcerers are beyond American law. Even though
but
the
but
show, like,
a
pokes
great
fun at it, but
example of why the Sokovia Accords existed.
yeah.
He's either the Sorcerer Supreme in some place called Carmitage, or sorry, no, or in New York, or he's a librarian in Nepal. I think that's what Nikki said,
Yes,
and she ended up she's sent him a thirst trap. It was a picture of me holding a bunch of books. Like that was so good. That was so good. Um, the other good line was Dennis Bukowski when I was going to bring this up when another important character to the She-Hulk comic made a quick appearance. She came in. It was Mallory Book came
mm,
into the office when they were meeting with Dennis, and he said, "Oh, I can't discuss like sensitive man stuff in front of a 10. She could be my next fiance one day." You know, like that guy's so gross, dude. But Mallory Book is played by Renee Elise Goldsberry, who is from Hamilton and other stuff like Girls Five Ever, and she's also a recurring character on Evil. Um, I was really happy when I saw Mallory Book. I don't know, like, if you guys know her, but she's a character that becomes an antagonist to Jennifer Walters and She-Hulk, in not in like any super capacity, just in like she's the coworker that hates her coworker. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like she's like, so it was fun to get a cool actress to be that person. And so I'm excited to see more. We'll see more of Mallory throughout the season. That's why I think that there might not be so much Blonsky, because we got to have more internal
Well, they told you it's not a
law
cameo
office
show,
conflict. What's
right?
that?
They told you at the beginning it's not a cameo show.
It's gonna be a
Well,
cameo show. It's
it's
100%
it's
gonna
it's
be a
not a
cameo show.
cameo show.
Every episode of She-Hulk
Yeah.
is a cameo show. I promise you that. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to piece it out. So we're a third of the way done, right? So
Yeah.
I'm thinking we're getting 2 Daredevil episodes. Is that a safe bet, or are you thinking you're getting 1?
I don't know. I want 14.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting 28, right? That's how long that new season is. The new show?
Is it
18.
28? It's
18?
18, I think.
18.
8.
Episodes,
That's a
something
lot
like
of
that.
that's a lot of
It's
Daredevil.
18.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. But if Daredevil gets 18, She-Hulk needs 24 next time.
Yeah.
This is not enough. I agree with you guys already. Like, it's not, 9 is not enough. I was super excited a few weeks ago when I learned it was 9, and now I'm like, what? Only 9? This is stupid. Give me a whole 52.
I mean,
Give me
maybe
all year.
this is like, we don't know how many Loki's gonna have. We don't know how many. I mean, shit. We don't know what else is on the table aside from What If. Like, the 6 episode experiment I think was fun, but let's get some more variation. Not everything needs to be 6.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be 9.
In fairness, my assumption is like when COVID eventually becomes less of a problem, we'll start seeing more and more, right? Like
Mhm.
we do know that COVID impacted the runtime of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
What
So
if?
yeah, and What If as well. So eventually we'll have shows that are not impacted by COVID, and maybe we'll get longer running stuff. So who knows? Who knows? But
I
man,
want to
I
see her
wish
join the Fantastic Four.
I do too.
Is that your first Fantastic Four movie or second one?
Second.
I would like her to be in the first Fantastic Four movie.
Well, that's one of the things that I am excited because I'm like, okay, so I don't have enough, but at least now she can start being a different Hulk when they need a Hulk. Then
She's the new
like,
default. She will
yeah,
be the new default.
Oh,
For
I
sure.
mean, they've been needing a new
but I
Hulk for a minute.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I also I mean there's two parts of this discussion about Hulk, and partly is how long is Mark Ruffalo going to be willing to still play the role?
Forever.
If it's forever, then great.
Well, Dennis wants his
You
Maestro.
know,
I want
well,
Maestro.
yeah, that would be great. But like I, there's been a lot of the complaints, and a lot from the same people complaining about Shield. Yeah, about that Hulk has been demasculine, like nerfed Hulk. And again, all that is fine because I think again in the long run they're so setting up. I think so
Well,
well.
wasn't that the issue with the comics? Like, Hulk is the strongest thing in the universe, right?
Mm,
But you run into like a Superman
yeah,
problem where
yeah.
how do you how is the answer not call the Hulk every time? You know?
But because the Hulk, some as a rage monster, doesn't have the control that Superman does.
Hmm.
You don't, you don't. That's one of the things that I liked about Ultimate Hulk, that Banner really didn't have control over it. That he really was a different person, and that whenever they brought the Hulk in, they knew that it was just as big a risk. It had to be huge and such. But I think again, like showing him at like his stages where he's going. I don't know how they're going to get to World War Hulk exactly, but I think they're going to get to some at some point. He's going to
You need to get the rights first.
savage Hulk out. I think we'll see the return of
Is
the
that how
savage
is
Hulk.
that how you Swan Song Hulk? Do a World War Hulk s story, kill him at the end.
You could. You could. You
That's why I
definitely
said
could.
it so depends on the actor, because again, that's why I asked, because I'm trying to see in interviews. I haven't really seen him say I'm done with the role. I mean, like, Chris Evans, kept saying, "Oh, I'm done with Captain America. I'm done." But then there's always a rumor, we're getting him back for something.
I I appreciate that Wong was discussing the option of mind wiping everybody. Just
Yes.
like
No, no,
just
no.
leave that as we'll have that as her strategy B, just in case, And then she's like, "Don't
She's
touch
like,
your nose. Don't touch your nose." Um, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to find. There was another quote that I really. Oh, there it was. When the people were testifying on behalf of
Oh,
Emil, and the guy who was talking about the literacy program that Emil formed, and he said, "Now the library is more than just a quiet place to shiv someone." That was so good. I love that one. That was really good. Instead of toilet wine, prisoners make toilet kombucha. Uh, I just love the show. I'm sorry. I had to drift off for a second. I did appreciate everything you guys were saying, but there's too much good in this show that I'm just gonna be sad when it's done. I'll be sad. I love when Dennis is like, "I'm canceling my Hollywood hookup subscription." There's clearly no vetting process. Oh man.
they got gold on their hands right now. Again, 3 episodes in, we're still on the honeymoon, right? But I mean, if they can keep this up for the last six. You got a season two on your hands. Like,
Yeah. I think there's way more than just season 2. Like
yeah.
like I said, I think whatever happens to Mark Ruffalo for sure. Um I guess I'm I guess I'm okay with whatever they decide because the legacy is in good hands now, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
it doesn't we don't need a Hulk. Like that's honestly that's kind of how I felt when I started reading She-Hulk comics back in like several decades ago. Once I found that, like it was just something that like it was a very similar experience to what's happening right now, which is I had read a lot of serious comic books, like a lot of stuff that was just like, you know, pull at your heartstrings, make you feel like the anxiety, the dread, all this stuff all the time. Just everybody's at crisis level 10 constantly. And then I heard so many good things about She-Hulk. I picked it up, read it, and it was just a breath of fresh air because it didn't feel the need to be that. Like it just felt like let's just hang out. Let's just hang out. And that's what is the show is doing right now. But once I started reading that, I was like eating up everything She-Hulk. I'm like, why do I need a Hulk? I don't need a Hulk anymore. There's no like he comes with so much more baggage, right? Like he gets angry and destroys things. She-Hulk does not. That's so much better. So I'm excited to see like the next 10, 20 years of this because they're gonna keep her going for a while, I think. I mean, she's definitely younger than Mark Ruffalo, right? When he started.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. So
Mhm.
they can milk it for a lot longer. But yeah. I'm excited to see how many more weird pockets they delve into just in this season. Like I love the light elf, so I wouldn't even be opposed to her coming back again. She was she was so silly. And just like impersonating a judge, like
Yeah.
just or when she impersonated a
Oh,
pug and
yes.
and she's like, what did he say?
I
What did he say about women?
I love harassing women.
Oh,
Uh,
I love harassing women.
And it's like, that's not
That's not
me.
cool. That's not
That's not
cool. That's not
cool.
cool.
Come
not
on, you guys, you know
You
me.
got you know me.
do you take issue with her not being like a scroll or no?
No,
No, there's
I
the
don't.
The
shapeshifters.
familiar.
Yeah. I think that I appreciate this show because when you watch the last two Thor movies, there's a lot of weird stuff in the background that never gets talked about. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, yeah, like that
y-
was with Love and Thunder. Like, there's all like, okay, I guess aliens are just chilling
yeah,
here now.
they
Like,
just live there
not that
with among the
Asgardians aren't aliens,
Asgardians.
but like Lycans and other
Yeah, exactly. So
non-humanoids.
I'm happy that this week they chose to explore the new Asgard pocket of the Marvel universe a little bit more through the light elf and through the construction equipment. Um, you got a twofer. And so yeah, let's next week let's look at the part of the universe that Captain Marvel is messing around with that we never get to hear anything about. Like there's so much stuff. There's
Yeah.
the mystical, there's all the weird stuff. So let's see it all. I just want to see it all. And then eventually one day we'll get She-Hulk to meet Spider-Man, and that'll be cool too. But that's not going to happen in the TV show. It's not. It's just not allowed. It's not allowed.
That's the unannounced Spider-Man movie.
Probably. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. But I'd rather see Daredevil and Spider-Man before anything else.
Oh,
But yeah, I guess the one last thing I wanted to point out about the episode that was really cool is, because Jen kind of is um, just riding the roller coaster that is her life right now. I really like that just about every character that's around her has these awesome words of wisdom, including Emil Blonsky. I thought it was really cool how, like, when she was saying, "Oh, they're probably going to tell us or run another story about me, whatever. It's not my problem." And he's like, maybe you should rethink that, because like they're going to tell the story either way. At least you could shape the narrative. And
Mhm.
I really like that she's learning lessons every week about how to be a She-Hulk, even from supervillains like the Abomination. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys got nothing else to add, we could probably wrap this one up.
nothing.
Nothing. You good? You good to wrap it?
I'm
Cool.
rapping.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, Clarke. Appreciate you coming to the pre-recorded
Hey,
show.
I had two great shows to watch for this.
Yeah,
They were both fantastic.
it was not the worst homework ever for sure.
No,
That's
it was not.
definitely. Yeah, and thanks to Ricky also for nerding out with us, and for accommodating to do this on a Thursday night. We'll be back next week to talk more Harley Quinn and She-Hulk. That's just what we're gonna keep doing every week until they go away. But in the meantime, tomorrow, aka Saturday, I just wanted to put that reminder one more time out there that I will be running a toy photography workshop in San Diego in the North Park area. And if you happen to be in the area and are interested in attending to maybe like just play with toys and take cool photos, you can RSVP at revisionsandiego.com. Yeah, but I hope to see everybody there who can go. I think Ricky, you're thinking about trying to come out.
Yeah, I'll be in San Diego that day, so maybe I will be at the workshop.
Cool. I did talk to Frank, by the way, and he's going to be unable to attend the workshop, but he will be in San Diego this weekend. So
Oh,
we might arrange something.
another live show.
We'll figure that out.
Frank reacts live to She-Hulk
I don't
twerking.
I don't think I can do live shows with Frank since he's objected to watching She-Hulk. Um,
Poor
uh,
Frank.
he's robbing himself. He's just depriving himself of joy. But in any case, thanks to our patrons for supporting our growth and to our audience for tuning in after the fact. If you had fun, please remember to like and subscribe and check us out on Patreon for whatever stuff. No after show tonight, though, guys. All right, I think that's it. See you next time on Dead Excelsior, true believers. Enough said.
See.